I got sent a challenge from Vanquished Gaming to take as many screenshots of different creatures as possible. I was given 24 hours to complete this challenge, but I decided I was going to challenge myself even further and try and complete it in only 1 hour. Now, just to show off how amazing the server is, I'm standing in front of this beautiful build which I found out in the wilderness. There are lots of other amazing builds on this server. You guys should come and check it out. I will link their Discord in the description. Go check them out. Now, without further ado, let's get this challenge underway and see what we can find off in the meadows. After venturing not too far into the meadows, I stumbled upon a grayling who was captured as my first creature for this challenge. After capturing my screenshot, I saw a deer just behind the grayling and chased him off into the distance. After following him for a very long time, I ran across the boar, who I decided to capture as my second creature instead of the deer. As the boar tried to gash my side, I took the screenshot and headed on down to the deer. After obtaining this lovely photo of the deer, I then headed to my next destination, which would be the dark forest. Now, I'd only been in the dark forest for a few moments when I stumbled across my first creature, the gray dwarf. After rudely throwing a rock at me, I took his photo and ran away like the creeper I was. Venturing deeper into the forest, I stumbled upon somebody's lost wolf. Now, I wasn't sure who this wolf belonged to, but I decided I needed a picture of it. Now, I encountered lots of these wolves in the forest, so I hung out with these ones for just a moment before spotting another creature, the skeleton. After smashing his bones to bits, I continued on into the forest, and I hadn't gone very far before hearing a sound over to my left. I took a glance to see what it was and noticed a troll die just before I could capture a picture. Realizing what killed the troll, I decided to take another screenshot of this pet, even though I wasn't sure if pets would count. After traveling through the forest for a few more minutes, I stumbled upon this beautiful castle hidden in the forest. As I was distracted by its beauty, I tripped over a trout that I decided to pick up and then headed over to check out this masterpiece. Now, this build looked like it had a lot of Asian inspiration, so I wanted to get a closer look. Realizing that this build probably wasn't complete, I continued on my quest to find more creatures of the dark forest. A few moments later, I found a pair of gray dwarfs, one of them a regular and one of them a 1-star. After they slapped me a couple of times, I managed to capture the perfect screenshot before hitting them in the face once again with my mace. After I picked up their loot, I ventured down the hill to notice a troll standing on the hill. Now, the last troll that I tried to obtain a photo of died before I was able to capture a screenshot. But with this troll standing upon a hill, I had the perfect opportunity. After fighting the troll, because trolls are impossibly hard to run away from, I continued on my venture just to find another troll later on, who I decided to keep in this video because I got such a wonderful final kill on it. As the troll swung down, I managed to give it a beautiful uppercut to the jaw, and it fell in place. Now, venturing onwards, I realized that my rested bonus had worn off. And rather than sitting to gain it, I activated the power of bone mass. And struggling for a little bit to figure out how to sit down and gain my rested bonus again, I finally figured it out and got the rested bonus I much needed. Once I returned to my quest, 17 minutes in, I realized that I would have to cross a river in order to get to the swamp at which I was heading. As I was about to place down my raft, I spotted a convenient bridge built by another player and decided that that would do perfectly for crossing the river. As I was about to cross, I noticed the green glowing eyes of a shaman who I had also not captured yet for my booklet of screenshots. After pummeling the gray dwarfs, I crossed the bridge just to find that somebody had built a base just on the other side of the bridge. Now, this base looked well fortified, so I decided not to tangle with it. Now, I was already 20 minutes into the challenge, and I only had a handful of creatures captured. I needed to find something quick. As I stumbled upon a river, I noticed a neck swimming in it and realized that I hadn't captured one of them yet. I took my screenshot and then harvested its meat for dinner. Exiting the forest into a beautiful meadows, I stumbled upon yet another beautiful build that can be found on this server. Now this looked like a massive build, and I was going to investigate it a little bit closer. And while we walk up this beautiful pathway, let me just take a moment to say if you're enjoying yourself, please leave a like, as this video took me a very long time to edit. And if you want to show your support, consider hitting that subscribe button. Now once I reached the top of the hill, I realized that this was more than just a base. It was a village, and it looked like it ventured on for miles. And noting that I had less than 40 minutes left in my challenge, I decided that it wasn't worth my time to adventure, and I had other creatures to capture. But I decided I just needed one more glance of this beautiful masterpiece. After I finally reached the swamp, it wasn't very long before I stumbled across my first swamp creature, the Draugr. As it charged towards me, I took a screenshot and then sent him back to the foul smell of which he came. I had just defeated this foul beast when I realized his friends approaching from the waters and decided to hold my ground and destroy them as well. Just a few moments later, I found one of the wretched water worms, the leech, any Valheim player's worst enemy. These foul beasts have ruined multiple adventurers' days, and I decided that I didn't want to mess with it. Heading around the corner and jumping over a tree, I found my next creature, the Abomination. A terrifying creature lurking in the swamp, who preys on those who didn't expect him to show up. Running for my life, I stumbled upon a blob, and after failing to obtain my first screenshot by hitting the wrong button, I took another step and then tried again. As I ran away to recuperate, I stopped atop a hill to regain my rested bonus just outside the swamp and headed back in to kill the Abomination. Now, anyone who knows me well knows that I love to fight these abominations. They provide a unique challenge which other creatures cease to possess. After I defeated the Abomination, I decided it was time to leave the swamp and head towards the mountains. Along my way, I stumbled upon some delicious-looking raspberries, which I decided to harvest for my snack later on. After reaching the top of the mountain, I noticed two drakes hovering above the peak. Not wanting them to see me, I took my screenshot from a distance and started to run. It wasn't long before I noticed the shadow of the drake chasing me down. As I proceeded to run for my life, I stumbled upon a wolf who tried to sink his fangs into my flesh. I defeated the wolf and continued to run for my life as I had no way to defend against the drake. While I continued onwards to my next biome, I stumbled upon a 1-star troll, who I decided to screenshot because they are such a rare occurrence for me. I don't find 1-star trolls very often, and decided that I wanted to have a bit of fun. Now, the 1-star troll took a lot longer to defeat than I expected. After I finally slayed this beast, I continued up the hill and spotted a bird, which I realized I had not screenshot yet. And a gull would be a wonderful addition to my screenshot collection. Now I had finally reached the plains biome and stumbled upon a furling village, and thought it would be a perfect place to find some. But lo and behold, I was ambushed by a grey dwarf, who distracted me just long enough for the furlings to sneak up behind me and stab me in the back. After ensuing combat for a moment, I realized that I didn't have my rested buff, and needed to seek refuge in a nearby tower. After gaining my buff, I then exited the tower to defeat the goblin foe. After all of the furlings had been slayed, I ventured onwards to find a death skeeto lurking in the mist. After slaying the furling who blocked my path, I ran for my life. After realizing this plains biome was far smaller than I initially expected, I decided that having only 15 minutes remaining, I must start my journey home. Now, I hadn't ventured far into the Black Forest when I stumbled upon a grey dwarf spawner, which made me realize that I had not captured a brute yet. After tripping over a rock, I noticed a brute in the distance and realized now was my perfect opportunity to capture his essence. After taking a shot of this beautiful creature, I decided that nobody else should see his beauty, and slayed him like his friends that came after. After stopping for a moment, I got ambushed by an army of grey dwarves. I took this opportunity to capture a family photo before murdering them all. Crossing over the mountain one more time in hopes of finding a werewolf, I was very unsuccessful, but I did manage to find this outstanding tower build, and realized this could be my ticket home. If this tower had a portal in it, I could skip the long walk. After climbing a spire, I realized that it had exactly what I was looking for awaiting for me at the top. A portal, my ticket home. After portaling around for a little bit, I finally found the village where my home was built. Realizing I only had 5 minutes left in the challenge, I decided that's where I was going to call it quits, and I submitted my screenshots to the chiefess. After waiting 24 hours for the challenge to end, I finally heard the results, and lo and behold, I was the winner of the challenge, coming out with a whopping 19 unique creatures, and gained the title Master Creature Collector. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you want to show your support, please drop a like, and if you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing. It helps out a lot as I put a lot of work into this video. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.